welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond, and London, England, as well as Paris, France, and of course you good old boys from Canada. You know we love you in Canada. We love you in Africa, the Big C tribe. But Big C, there's no one we love more than you good old boys down south, in the land of the free, and the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys down south?
Charlton, we've been mesmerized in the sports world the past couple of days. We're looking at the NHL, how it's been a juggernaut back and forth. We're looking at the NBA playoffs. We got a lot of people saying, whoa. And Major League Baseball, they hit the damn ball out the park at a record pace right now.
Yeah, I like the way you say that. What kind of ball? What kind of ball? You said they hit a curveball out the park, Big C? What ball did they hit? I want to say today is a beautiful May the 16th, 2018, in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Big C, I tell you, out here in California, everybody's loving this weather. I mean, California is a land of vibranium, the Golden State, the land of the free and home of the brave. I woke up this morning and there were thunderstorms all over the Golden State of California. I said, Gods, listen to Big C Sports. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I think that has been flying all over the place when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, we've had a deluge of water back here in the South, Charlton, today. I mean, I don't have to water the grass, I don't think, the rest of the month.
Yeah.
As much water as we've had hit the ground.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things the good old earth needs, Charlton, periodically. It needs a good bath.
Yeah.
Periodically. You know, here it knocks down the pollen quite a bit. But also, Charlton, you know, you would love to have it during the summer when you're having all those forest fires. Unfortunately,
yeah,
so many people lose their property to that natural devastation, Charlton, that it would be nice that if it fell this time of the year. But water any time of the year is a blessing. And trust me, it makes better moonshine with rainwater.
How did I know they use water for more than baths down south? That is some good shine. We just like KFC's recipe, we're not going to ask Big C what's in that recipe, but I do want to tell everybody that this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. I'd be remiss if I did not remind the whole sports universe that Big C has a GoFundMe page. It's called GoFundC. Okay, for you good old boys, GoFundMe. Well, Big C started a GoFundC page, and we're trying to raise $3 billion. So for all you out there, especially you good old boys in Dubai that follow Big C Sports, don't be stealing our time, okay? I know you got the BN network and all that other stuff that's watered down. You need to follow some Big C and add some moonshine to your elixir. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I mean, we're real. You know, we're that uncut version.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can get that liquid libation is 40%. We give you 100%. We make you cringe when you take a sip of it, Charlton. You just don't flow it right down.
Yeah.
You got to take time to ingest it. And that's the best part about sports, Charlton.
Yep.
Is that you got to say, did I see what I just thought I seen?
Yeah.
Or did I hear what I just thought I heard?
Yeah.
That's the reality of sports, Charlton, that it always take a second look. And you think about what television does.
Yeah.
Television gives you replay.
Yep.
We give it to you live and direct, so you have to pay attention.
Yep.
You have to be attentive. If this takes you back, you think about boxing matches that were only on radio back during the 40s and early 50s, Charlton, pre-television era.
My grandfather
when they didn't have instant replay.
Yeah.
When you sit there and you were attentive to what was going on, what was given to you over the airways, Charlton, that's what we like our listeners to be about.
Yeah.
Educated and attentive, Charlton.
Yeah.
So if they understand what we're saying, and they can go back and they can look at the guys who use replay, who use the teleprompter, who use the notes, and say, well, damn, they told us the truth before you said something, and we had to repeat it 3 times and show a replay to prove it.
Yeah, I remember one time back in the day in Oakland, California, actually Oakland and San Francisco and San Jose, I saw Prince. And the late Prince, obviously one of the greatest musicians in the history of the universe. He was always at Golden State Warriors basketball games. And Prince, they call him a musical genius. But would you believe, when I went to a Prince concert, he was not lip syncing? When I went to a Prince concert in San Francisco, he wasn't having someone with a microphone or an earplug in his ear telling him what to say. And in front of Prince, and for anyone who's ever gone to a concert, you know what I'm going to tell you is true. When you go to a concert, your entertainer's the best in the world. I don't care who they are, the best in the world. They live and they speak from their higher self. That it's like making love, Big C. I know you good old boys down south thought you invented that, but actually it wasn't invented by you southern boys, Big C. But you do it with your higher self. You don't need a script. No one needs to tell you this is what you say. This is when you say it. Make sure you sneak in the sponsor. Oh, hold on. Read down the stats, and I guarantee you, for everybody you're watching on TV and you hear them on radio, they're all reading for something that's written by somebody else, and you'll hear them sometimes slip and say, "I want to thank my producer for giving us good content." I watched one of the Good Old Boys last night on the Mothership, Big C. And the Mothership said, do we go to commercial or do we go to break? Hold on. Okay, I got to close. Because he wasn't being real with the audience. He was reading what somebody was saying to him. Big C, you've always said you don't want to roll that way. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, to be honest with a fan, it's like watching a sporting event live. How can you script that? I mean, and to be able to explain, when you watch an analyst doing a basketball game, Charlton, that we've been seeing in the NBA playoffs, you watch an analyst doing the NHL playoffs, and even Major League Baseball games that are going on right now, Charlton.
Yeah.
They're not sitting there for a producer to tell them what occurred. They are watching and explaining in real time what has occurred. They will come back to replays after a player producer has assisted them a little bit. But while the game is in live action, Charlton, you don't have time for a producer or a director injecting you what you're saying. You're going with the ebb and flow of the game and what you're feeling. And that's what the fans appreciate, Charlton. To be realistic about the sports world, even about the news world that goes on these days. And I'm never knocking the ladies that are in the sports of broadcasting, Charlton. They've done a great job. They've been trailblazers getting to where they are.
A lot of men.
But when they do that, a live event, it's hard for them to understand the emotion of a guy. And I'm going to equate this to where women understand it to show that I'm not being biased. A guy can't equate being pregnant and giving birth to a child the way that a woman can. So to have a woman to be explaining what it is to be an intense athlete, and I know there's many in female sports, but women don't play at the NBA level. They don't play at the Major League Baseball level. They don't play at the NFL level. So when you ask a coach, what does it take to motivate your players? You need to ask some players who've been cut. Okay? That's what you really need to understand. When you find a player that's been cut, then you know what a coach will say to motivate you.
Well,
what was the turning point in the game? Well, when you're in a game and you've been an athlete, you understand what the turning point is in a game. That's why you see so many male broadcasters and analysts out there, because they know what the turning point is. They know what the ebb and flow of an event is, Charlton. They get players to a point. They know the buttons that are pushed by a coach and teammates to make you excel in what you do.
Well, I would like to add, I want to contrast that, Big C, because I know there's a lot of dominant female athletes, and there's a lot of men who don't know what it's like to be that dominant female athlete either. And when it comes to someone saying what they see, everybody has their own flavor of Kool-Aid. But I will tell you this, what I've seen. I've been in the press box with a lot of men who've done play-by-play. And some of those men, I wonder how they got the job other than nepotism and cronyism. They know somebody. They didn't get the chance to compete for it. They were given that. And they're all over the sports universe, and you guys know who you are. Your friend gave you a job. I remember starting out back in the day. And I'm just going to say this guy's name because it's the truth. You can Google it. His name is David Norrie. He was a quarterback at UCLA back in the day. He was broadcasting the game with Stanford. It was Stanford, I think they were playing UCLA down at the farm when they had that old stadium down in Stanford. And I heard him cuss out the producer so bad when they went to commercial. I said, how does this guy have a job? It's because of who he knew. It wasn't because he was good. He's still out there broadcasting now. I know another guy that does some broadcasts for the Lakers back in the day. His name is Bill McDonald. I used to do spot games for Bill McDonald. He's excellent. I never heard him disrespect his producer or his spotter or anybody. So there's two different men that broadcast Pac-10. And back in the day, it was Pac-10 football and basketball, Pac-12 now. And one was so congenial with the producers, but he didn't need them. Oftentimes he said, let me talk, let me do my thing. And there's this other guy who's cussing everybody out, and he's still working the day. He happens to be Caucasian because they get a bigger rope to hang themselves with. But so whether it's men or women, I know everybody has their own flavor. But I've known a lot of men. You wonder how do they get the job when they're so rude, and they don't have any talent when someone's not telling them what to say. And I just wanted to add that for the men and women because I've seen it on both sides. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charleston, you can look at any broadcast network on television, and you'll see the sons of broadcasters in these networks. I mean, and it has gone on for years. Some of them are high-quality broadcasters. Some of them are there because their dads have been in and got their sons in the company. That's been part of their contracts. And, hey, give my boy a shot, or they'll bring them on their shows as guests.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they escalate. But there's a lot of people, Charleston, that have the ability to do this business that we're in. They never get the opportunity to do it.
No.
And a lot of it is about who you know. It's not always about how good you are. I'm not saying we're the greatest. I'm not even saying we're the best. But I'm saying there's people out there that can't hold a candle to us, and there's people we can't hold a candle to also. But we will battle against anybody.
Amen.
As far as knowledge and delivery, as far as what we do.
Yep.
As you tell people all the time, put your notes away, put down the prompter.
Yeah.
Let's go mano a mano.
Yeah.
Let's sit there and entertain the fans. Let's enlighten the fans on the world of knowledge in sports. Let's talk some pre-ESPN as far as what you know about sports. Let's step into the world of realism. Let the fan understand what's out there, because even a lot of fans, Charlton, don't have it in touch with reality.
No.
Because they've even picked up where sports television has come 24 hours on television, and that's what they know about the games. It's just like, we're in the NBA playoffs right now. If we look at Russell Westbrook being talked about having back-to-back triple-double seasons.
Yeah.
Think about if Oscar Robertson had been on a 24-hour sports network.
Oh, my goodness.
We would be talking about Oscar Robertson being the greatest basketball player of all time.
Yeah.
Everyone looks at Jordan, who came in on a 24-hour sports network, saying, well, he's the greatest of all time because he has 6 titles. Robert Horry, during the same era, has 7. Okay? No one talks about the first 6 years in the NBA where Jordan got his butt kicked on a regular basis. Okay? When other teams were winning the titles. The Boston Celtics, the Detroit Pistons, the Los Angeles Lakers. Nobody talks about that. The first 6 years that Jordan was in the NBA, he was pedestrian. He grew up halfway through his career, Charlton, and became a dominant player.
Yeah.
But you can't omit those first 6 years that he was in the NBA. And so, you think about players like Kareem. You look at Kareem. Here's a guy who has over 5,000 assists as a center in the NBA.
Yes.
Not only that, he was the league's all-time leading scorer and rebounder when he retired.
Yeah.
And people say, well, he wasn't that good. Okay, he played in an era where he only took a 2-point shot. He didn't have a 3-point shot.
No.
And he wasn't selfish. It wasn't that he had to shoot for his team to win. He would defer to teammates. That's greatness. Carrying the ball around, saying that I trust my teammates to win a championship even as much as or more than I would trust myself.
Yes.
That's what greatness is. And people don't understand that, Charlton. This is a highlight reel mentality that we live in today.
Yes.
And you think about that. Sports is going to go back to its old time based on what the Supreme Court did 2 days ago.
Yes.
Okay? Abolishing the sports betting rule that it was only legal to bet in Nevada.
Yes.
Okay? When the Supreme Court abolished that, you think people are going to be paying attention to replays now, Charlton? No. They're going to be paying attention to real-time sports. Replay won't matter. And not only that, Charlton, players will be paying attention to real-time sports. When you start looking at overs and unders, we talk about point spread.
Yep.
But you will see all these variable of bets now coming up in arenas. They'll have them on the big jumbotrons in the arena. Running backs got to get X amount of carries over and under.
Yeah.
Punts over and under. Completions over and under. Receptions over and under. Basketball, shots, free throws, rebounds. When you start seeing all these over and under, these hedge bets, Charlton, that can take place, it's going to alter the way that sports are played. Trust me. Now, I want people to remember, you've heard this on Big C Sports.
Yep.
Sports will be altered the way that it's played in the next 18 months.
Yeah.
Once they get all these betting apparatuses up in the arena, the highlight shows won't matter any longer. It's going to be about real time and what can be explained. And you think about how the announcers will incorporate these bets into the broadcast.
Yeah.
They will be sitting there wagering what the bets are, what somebody has to get for this bet to be good. This is going to happen on a regular basis. So the broadcast companies will tie in to the betting ring, Charlton, that's going into America now.
Who was that guy back in the day? I think he was on CBS Sports. He was a bet guy. Was it Billy? It was Jimmy the Greek Snyder.
Jimmy the Greek Snyder on CBS, the football morning show on CBS with Herb Cross, Jane Kennedy, and Brett Musburger.
Brett Musburger. Now, I think his father, when he started telling his dad he was going to start running the books, see, people, you're only going to hear this on Big C Sports. I know you love all the things that people tell you, but we don't like a dumb audience, so we tell you to Google it, because we want you not to be fooled, not even by us. Google what we say. I mean, we might be wrong, I'm sorry. We're wrong sometimes. Big C, you haven't mixed moonshine 100% right all the time. You probably miss 1% of the time, but you don't tell anybody, because after one sip, they don't know the difference anyway. Big C, that makes sense. But Jimmy the Greek Snyder, I know he came up with some trouble because he was doing some stuff that he wasn't supposed to be doing. But the NFL, and I love it. I love NFL. I love all sports, but NFL's king. They were telling people where to put your money. And that's like insider trading. And there's a reason he's not on TV now. I mean, sometimes people give you enough rope to hang yourself, so when you do something wrong or they want to get rid of you, they already know what you've done before they give you the contract. And I just want to get your thoughts on what you just said. You don't hear that sports betting angle anymore, that they're telling their fans what to pay attention to in a game. Why has that gone away, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, it went away because of the problems that CBS ran into, and because Greek had an inside in Vegas. And this was in the earlier days, Charlton. Back in the 70s, you're thinking about, we're talking, 40 years ago, that this was an active part of the NFL, but it was ahead of its time.
Before SportsCenter.
But now that the Supreme Court has opened it up to say that, legal sports betting will be legal in all 50 states. There's 32 states, Charlton, that within the next 18 months will have legalized sports betting. And when you have legalized sports betting, you think the next one on the ledger is going to be New Jersey, who was the number one fighter for this, Charlton, to happen. How many teams are in that market, Charlton, when you think about the Jets and the Giants?
Yep.
Are right there in New Jersey playing in the Meadowlands. You think across the Hudson, Charlton, you have the Nets, you have the Knicks, you have the Rangers, you have the Islanders, you have the Devils, you have the Mets and the Yankees. You look at the plethora of sports teams, Charlton, that are in the largest sports mecca in the universe, New York.
Yeah.
And you look at the amount of money that had been bet over the decades underneath the table, Charlton, off the books. Now you can bet this right in the arena, Charlton, in the next 18 months.
Yep.
You're going to have to be really cautious of how games are played now, Charlton. Officiating is going to have to be altered. How professional sports has to be played now. And even the part that hasn't been touched on, everybody's talking about professional sports, okay, Charlton?
Yep.
What's going to happen on the college level where they have refused to pay players over the decades?
Amen to that.
They have denied giving players money. Now that college sports betting is going to be legal in the arenas and in the stadiums, Charlton, every sport, whether it's track and field, whether it's swimming, baseball, football, basketball, field hockey, soccer, tennis, water polo. You think about the plethora of college sports that are out there. We're talking dozens and dozens, Charlton, that are played at these universities across the country.
Yeah.
And you think about these starving athletes that we have had for decades, that we've heard that it's been antitrust to not pay these athletes.
That's true.
Now you're going to put the money right in their face in the arena. You think athletes won't bet on themselves, Charlton?
Yeah.
College athletes won't bet on themselves. They will have friends. They will have girlfriends. They will have boyfriends. They will have fraternity brothers and sisters sitting in the stands, making these bets, winking eyes back and forth at the people, giving the thumbs up, raising the arms up to the side, telling them what to do bet-wise. Charlton, there's so many gestures that you can give physically.
Yeah.
And so now when we think about that sports has always been an even playing field, the Supreme Court just opened up Pandora's box. And what I want to do is tell every fan who is out there, go back and look at the Boston College scandal on sports betting and basketball. Go back and look at the Arizona State scandal on betting on college basketball. Go back and look at the Providence basketball scandal on betting on college basketball.
Yeah.
Then I want you to go and rent the movie called Blue Chips, full of great stars: Bobby Knight, Nick Nolte, Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway, a cast of others that are in this movie, Charlton. And Mike Krzyzewski's in the. You will see where college basketball is probably the easiest sports to fix over all sports. Think about baseball, Charlton, college baseball. When a pitcher can't seem to find the plate, think about that. He can't seem to find the plate. All of a sudden, this score is getting out of hand.
Yeah.
And we're talking about athletes that are not getting paid.
Yep.
How can you scrutinize, control, monitor, even do anything with these athletes?
Yeah.
When the money is there to be made.
I say, I love when you go back in history. It reminds me when I got my first red bicycle. I watched that bicycle every day. Even though I didn't even ride it outside for about a week, I was so proud of it. It was candy apple red. It had white wall tires. And it reminded me of, as a little boy, when you're getting something that you really cherish, and we cherish sports. That's why I don't like a dumbed down audience. I don't want you to smoke and mirrors and 19 producers telling me what to say and all those things that make it seem like that you can't do what we do. Anybody can. I would love to have 1 million new sports broadcasters all over the universe because you can create your own employment. There's a lot of time, especially for young African-American boys, that for the most part, you don't have a father opening the door for you to get in the broadcast. You don't have a father opening the door for you to get into the production side of TV because he owns a TV station or knows somebody who does, to make a phone call down to Bill, hey, Bill, give little Johnny a job. You don't have that. But what you do have is the gift of freestyle. And it's for all people, but especially I'm speaking to people that I am. The young African-American that gets ostracized and marginalized from the world of broadcast after dominating the playing surface. Can't get a job to guys that you dominated against because there's not enough rooms for you. But if you learn how to do your own business and do like Prince, when he did a concert, he sang with his higher self. Michael Jackson did that. Luther Vandross, Teddy Pendergrass, Frankie Beverly and Mays. You remember that song? I can tell by the look in your eyes. Now, I don't sing like Frankie Beverly, but I did see that, brother. You said you don't question that, Biggs. You supposed to say yes, you do. See, you side with Frankie Beverly, I understand, and so does the rest of the universe. But Frankie did it from the hip. He did it with his gut. It's just like making love. You don't have a script. Unless you Donald Trump, the women Donald Trump date, you might have a script, Big C. But for most people...
Well, that script is only 4 minutes long from what we've heard. Okay. And that was... to find my belt buckle periodically.
And that was including the warm-up. So what I understand, Big C. But I just want people to know, because I'm around AAU boys, and I see how they They ogle over athletes. I say, don't ogle over athletes. They're people who are given an opportunity. You can create your own opportunity. But a lot of those guys, and they know what I'm saying is true, they don't give back. They don't say anything that can benefit you other than buy my stuff that I'm marketing. And that's okay. But I'd at least like to tell young people, instead of feeling marginalized, be like Howard Cosell, be like Irv Cross, get a microphone, go out and start covering sporting events. We dominate the events anyway. And instead of thinking you got to go to a producer that's mostly mainstream, Caucasian, they're going to hire guys that don't look like you unless you're an ex-athlete. And when you're an ex-athlete, they're going to put you up there, maybe 2 or 3 of you surrounding someone who never played sports, and they're going to have you be the expert. But the show is named after them. So they have a show named after them, but they have all these black guys who played the game that can't get a show. But they steal your talent, and they tell you, thanks, bro. Hey, thanks, bro. Hey, you cool, dude. Thanks, bro. We're going to have you on next time. In fact, we're going to call another one of your friends and have them be a guest. How about have your own show? Big C, does that make any sense? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you have to own your own world. And if you look at owning your own world, look no further than Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. When this bill was passed by Congress, Mark Cuban said it just doubled the value of NBA franchises.
Sure did.
Think about that. You doubled the value of NBA and professional sports franchises. What have all the teams been accused of, Charlton, over the past 2 years, halfway through the season when they saw that they weren't going to win their division or make the playoffs?
I think they call it tanking.
Tanking.
I think they call it tanking. Yep.
Tanking has a lot to do with the point spread.
Yep.
So if you're a wealthy owner and there's no limit on what you can bet, Charlton, and you know you have a bad franchise, okay, you look at that. Who had the number 1 draft pick in the NFL this last year?
Yeah, your friends.
Cleveland Browns.
Your friends.
Won one game in 2 years.
Yeah.
One game in 2 years. Right behind them, you know, who was it that had the number 2 draft pick? Was it the Bears or who was it?
Yeah, right. I think
the
you're
Giants.
right. Yeah, the Giants did.
The Giants.
With Eli's team.
So when you sit there and you look at these teams that you know that are not going to win in Major League Sports, Charlton, as an owner, how do you increase wealth? You told the team to tank.
Yeah.
So that you can get a better draft pick. We saw the Phoenix Suns last night win the NBA lottery.
Yep.
And they fired their head coach, Earl Watson. I think it was in 7 games into the season last year when they fired their head. Matter of fact, it was about 3 games when they were losing by an average of 42 points a game.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm the owner of that team, and I know that my team can never cover the spread, why would I not bet against them? Think about it. If I know that my team can't cover the spread, my head coach wants to keep his job. Okay, the spread's 12 tonight. We're going to lose by 14, 15.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. Because you want to work tomorrow, don't you?
Yep.
Because I can find another guy to help us lose just like you do tomorrow. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
I can promote the assistant head coach. That's not a problem.
Yes.
So when you think about, and I listened to what Mark Cuban said, and I don't think the rest of the broadcast sports world did.
No, they didn't.
Is that you just doubled the value of all our professional sports organizations.
Yeah.
Because now we as owners can bet on ourselves. If I have a dominant franchise that I know is going to win, that is going to beat one of the lesser league teams in the league, I can bet on him regardless of which city I'm in, Charlton.
Yeah.
I can be in San Antonio. I can be in Indianapolis. I can be in Milwaukee now and place a bet. I can be in Orlando and place a bet. You know, Utah. Think about it, Utah. I can place a bet in Utah now.
Yeah.
So as I'm an owner and I'm looking at my franchise, and it's like, you know, I need to sign somebody. And I have to pay a luxury tax to bring this player in now, Charlton.
Yeah.
To make my franchise better. In any professional sports, they all have luxury tax for going over the salary cap.
Yes.
So if I can make an extra $100 million, extra $250 million, betting on my team for or against so that I can cover my luxury tax, what prevents that owner now, Charlton, for manipulating the scores in a game, or even a hedge bet.
Yeah.
If he's betting over and under on field goals.
Yep.
Okay. I make a call down to the sideline. No, we go for it. We don't kick the field goal.
Yeah.
Okay? We're going for it. You think about what these people will do now, Charlton. These are undermining collusion people that we've seen already. Well, they showed the collusion that they have when it comes to just players in other leagues competing against them.
Yep.
But now here it is. You can't control this guy from not making a bet during the game, Charlton.
You know,
he doesn't have to make a call in Vegas. He's going to be able to do it right from his luxury suite.
Right from his luxury suite.
Think about that.
Yeah.
He's going to do it from his luxury suite.
Yeah.
So he can sit there and make $1 million, several $1 million during a game, Charlton. He's a billionaire.
Yeah.
So making multi-million-dollar bets is nothing to him.
No.
So he wins enough of these during the season that he can control his luxury tax. No longer means nothing.
That's true. And keep in mind, everybody, these players are coming from a league in college where they're saying, for the most part, they're African Americans who can't make any money for their own labor. And Caucasians too, of course, but the predominant sports that make money on TV, about 70% of the athletes are African American for free. No money whatsoever, and if you do, we're going to lose your scholarship. That's egregious. Now, I got to bring this up because people might think, oh yeah, that's just movies, right? You talked about blue chips. There's a movie called Focus by, I think, one of the most talented actors in the universe, in Will Smith. And when I saw that movie Focus, it was Will Smith and Margaret Robbie. And they're two great actors. I love that. In fact, I watched that movie several times because what you just said, and we go back to that thing that happened with Boston, you think about it. They showed you how you can fix games. People say, oh, it's just a movie. But why? And I know the NFL has to get to that $27 billion. They're going to get that $27 billion yearly revenue. Big C, go fund Big C's only asking for $3 billion. Big C, we're not aiming high enough. Big C, we got to let sports betting get on Big C Sports. I want $3 billion. The NFL says they want $27 billion. But that movie, Will Smith Focus, and Margaret Robbie, it's not just talk. Anyone can be had. I know a lot of people that fight in the fight game. And the underworld of the fight game is a pretty tough business. It's not just lights and shining objects and glamour and women and all that stuff that they surround you with, Big C. It's people who want what they want. So I think the NFL set it up, and other leagues too, where they get a percentage of this. Now, I just think of that. I know you got to make money, but if that can happen for colleges too, and you know it's going to come. But if you're a young black kid, no matter what part of the country, and young white kids too, you can't get money, but the leagues are even saying for the people that bet, they can bet on your labor, but you can't get the money. And I hope that people wake up because the athletes that they put on these talk shows, they're not going to talk about it more than 5 minutes, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, they're not going to talk about it, but you're going to have to change the sports lines now. You honestly are. Like I said, on the college level, think about how many people you know when you're in college. If you're a member of a fraternity in college, and you think about all your fraternity brothers and sisters, and you're talking about, hey, we need money. We need you to do something during this game that won't be really noticed, but we need you to make a certain play.
Yeah.
That's going to occur, Charlton.
It already is.
That's something that you cannot control. That's human nature.
It already is.
And when you have young kids, and you think about college betting,
yeah,
they're the ones who set it up initially.
Yep.
They were setting it up. I remember years ago, Charlton, there were two kids from the University of Washington on a meaningless basketball game at the end of the season. University of Washington, Arizona State. There was a 7-point spread on the game. They go in, lay $250,000 on the game. The game comes off the board in Las Vegas.
Yep.
Now, this was an odd bet on this game at this point in the season. And come find out, you got two college students laying this bet in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas, this is abnormal. For a game at this point of the season,
yeah,
two teams with losing records. all of a sudden somebody walks in, puts a $250,000 bet, so they take the game off to give the bet back.
Yeah.
That was occurring years ago, Charlton.
Yeah.
Now with this stuff going on live in the arenas, Charlton, and you're going to bet any place around the country, there's no limitation to these actions taking place. If you're making a hedge bet during a game, Charlton, and you got the fraternity that's pulled together that $10,000, $20,000 while the game is going on, and make an odd bet for something to occur, Charlton, you can't pull that bet off the board quick enough.
No, you can't.
That action takes place during that quarter, Charlton, of that basketball game. That bet has to be paid out.
Yep.
This is going to occur on a regular basis, Charlton. It's going to occur more on the college level than what it is on the professional level. Because the thing about college athletes, Charlton,
they're hungry.
They're not separated from society.
No.
They're part of their culture. They're campus entities. They can be bribed. You sit there, and you're a struggling athlete, as we've heard more and more.
Yep.
Athletes cannot be paid, but you're a part of a fraternity.
Yeah.
You're big guys on campus. Everybody know who you are.
Yep.
So look, man, hey, we just need you to do this. There's $5,000 in it for you.
Yep.
There's $10,000 in it for you. Okay, now how do you tell a guy that's 18, 19 years old that we got to give you cash for doing this?
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Miss a shot, make a shot, throw away a ball, whatever, have a turnover. You need to have 5 turnovers in the game. You need to have 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
You know what the guy averages turnovers on the year. You just got to have 2 more.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. You got to get 2 more rebounds in the game. You might foul somebody to get it, but at least try to get 2 more rebounds.
Yeah.
There's $5,000 in it for you. Now, in college basketball, we know that they play close to 40 games now, Charlton.
Yep.
40 games. You're making $5,000, $10,000 a night, Charlton. Throughout these 40 games, you've had a pretty good income for a college season. College football, there's 13 games being played.
Yep.
Quarterback, we need you to throw 2 picks in the game.
Yep.
We need you to do that. It can be worth $40,000 to you. 2 picks, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
A lot of quarterbacks do that, and you just see he's having a bad game.
Yeah, especially when they're up 28-3 at halftime, Big Z.
Yeah, running back. Yeah. We need you to fumble the ball when you're up, okay?
Yep.
We need you to fumble in the third quarter.
Yeah.
We need to fumble in the second quarter. These are the things we need you to do.
Yeah.
There's a big payday for you.
Big C.
No one notices it.
Big C. Remember, there's a quarterback that had a great game in the first half of a Super Bowl. I ain't going to say nobody's name. Had a great game. In fact, they were up 28-3. Comes back and turnover, sack. Got rewarded $200 million. $100 million guaranteed. Not won a Super Bowl. Google that. Sports is a billion-dollar industry. Boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. For every athletic and sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports. Whether you're a pro team, a collegiate team, a high school team, or your mom and pop soccer league, when you reach out to them, tell them Big C sent you at 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. I told you, one of my favorite movies. I love this vibranium. I can't get it out of my teeth. I have some vibranium. It's like, when grandma make that chicken, that yard bird, as you guys call it down south, Big C, and you say, why don't grandma put napkins on the table? Isn't she cultured? Well, grandma she don't put napkins on the table because everybody licking their fingers when they're done eating that yard bird, Big C. That vibranium tastes better than that chicken that you don't need a napkin to eat. But I think back at that movie, Pulp Fiction. It was Sam Jackson and John Travolta and Harvey Keitel, Uma Thurman, a lot of good old boys, Bruce Willis, and my favorite actor of them all, Vin Rhames. And he told him, you go down in the 4th round. He said your backside goes down in the 4th round. He used a different vernacular because he was on the take. And because he didn't go down in the 4th round, he got out of the town with some money that didn't belong to him. And some good old boys came looking for him. Don't think that doesn't go on for people that think everything's fair in love and war. And I just want to say, open your eyes as you pull out that credit card to buy that next ticket. and you're young black kids and you got to starve. I mean, you don't get punished for starving. There's a lot of people that don't get to eat. I believe this stat that I heard, I don't know if it's right or wrong, there's different stories, but they're saying about 30% of many kids that are below the poverty line have less than 1 meal a day. Less than 1 meal. A lot of them are recruited to play sports because they see that as their way out. So they try harder. They're recruited and they're encouraged. You play for us, boy. You wear our uniform. We won't give you any money, but you can play pro sports. And now they've learned to bet, make more money, and those kids' situation still has not changed. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, it hasn't changed, but it was changed by the Supreme Court 2 days ago. It honestly would.
Not for the athletes? Not legally?
Well, yes, it did.
Legally?
It did for the athletes, Charlton.
How?
Because now the athletes can control the revenue stream. That's what everybody didn't understand by what the Supreme Court was doing. The athlete now is putting control of the revenue stream. Las Vegas controlled it before, Charlton, because it was put in one entity, the state of Nevada. That was it. Now that it's going to open up in 32 states over the next 18 months, look at the wealth of athletes now, Charlton, that can have direct impact on what's going on in the arena that they're playing in. That's what you have to understand. These are people. The people who bet want money. Okay, you don't bet to lose.
Yes.
You bet to win. You can bet to lose, trust me. But that bet that you're betting to lose, you're betting to win money with it also, Charlton.
But can they get paid legally?
You have direct contact with the athletes, with the opponents that are playing in these arenas. Okay? That's what you have now. That's what everybody has fought against for decades, Charlton, in this betting act, is not to give people direct access to the athletes legally. You know, we've seen Pete Rose, who will never make it to the Hall of Fame, betting on baseball.
Yeah.
But he wasn't betting on baseball in Las Vegas. He was betting on baseball in the dugout. Think about that. And that's as far as people need to look. Look at Pete Rose being banned from the Hall of Fame, and it won't be retroactive that he can be put into the Hall of Fame now, that betting on baseball from the dugout is technically going to be legal now.
Wow.
So what Pete Rose was banned for life from the Hall of Fame will now be legal in baseball. So I have a manager who leaves a pitcher in too long or takes a pitcher out when he's hot and he's not struggling. You put in a relief pitcher that hasn't got anybody out in 3 games.
Hugh Darvish, excuse me, I've had a sneeze. Sorry about that, Big C.
And he blows the game.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to look now, Charlton, and you don't even have to look hard to see how this game will be altered in 2019. All professional and collegiate sports, Charlton, will be altered in 2019 because anybody who has an interest in betting will have direct physical access to the personnel.
I want to clarify.
That's what has changed.
I want to get your clarification. I understand the underground. I've known guys that have gotten paid a lot of money that didn't even work, but they played sports. Are you saying that this new Supreme Court ruling will help the college athletes legally get paid, or will it still be more underground shenanigans? Big C, your thoughts?
No, Charlton, it will actually help him legally get paid. He just has to be cautious that no one knows how he's getting paid.
So it's not legal.
But think about it.
Yeah.
If he can give somebody the money to bet for him,
yeah,
they have to prove that he had an action in the outcome of the game, Charlton, if it was altered in any kind of way.
I see your point.
But you can have $5 and bet the $5, Charlton, and bet the odds on certain things that will occur.
Yeah.
Like I said, the biggest part of college athletics now, the biggest part of betting, when you look at all these fraternities, we've heard a lot of fraternity problems about hazing.
Yes.
You know, in the past several years, Charlton, about kids getting in peril and even losing their lives from fraternity hazing. Think about when you have groups on campus, Charlton. You think about some of these universities that have these marching bands.
Yes.
Look at the size of these marching bands, Charlton. And you know, a band like Ohio State is well renowned for its, you know, choreography.
Yeah.
Florida A&M University for their choreography. Southern and Grambling University for their choreography. You got these struggling college students that are in the band. You know they're not on full ride scholarships.
Yes.
Every band member, Charlton, puts together $5. Okay, and say your band is 150 to 200 strong. That's a pretty good sized bet.
Yeah.
And you know players on the team. And say, okay, we're putting this together. We're going to give you one out of every dollar, one out of every $5 is bet.
Yeah.
We need this to happen.
Well, I tell you what. Yeah.
That player's got a pretty good payday, Charlton.
It's a pretty good payday. And I understand there's a lot of things that go on in the sports universe that a lot of people don't pay attention to, but we'll keep you informed. Follow Big C Sports. Don't follow those other programs that are going to tell you the same thing over and over and over again, and it's not even real. Big C, I want to touch real quick before we close on NBA. Tampa Bay Lightning, NHL last night won Game 3 at home versus Washington. I hear that Donald Trump has not been following this series, Big C, but the Capitals should be a little bit nervous now. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, when Donald Trump hears about ICE, he's thinking about Russia. Okay, that's or immigration.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand that hockey is played. But you have to wonder, did the Capitals get a little relaxed in going down to Tampa Bay last night, Charlton, and giving up Game 3? They've never been this far, Charlton, in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And are they going to choke? That's the concern. If the Capitals win Game 3 in this series, Charlton, it's all over. But if they lose, I think that the Lightning will come back and take them in this series.
Las Vegas Golden Knights are returning home tonight versus Winnipeg, the Jets. You know we love you. Oh, Canada. You got to find a way to keep Canada relevant, Big C, not just for healthcare, but for winning championships, especially Lord Stanley's Cup. Your thoughts, will the Jets be able to take home court advantage and go up one on them good old boys from, the Silver State is what Nevada's called? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, the Silver State with the Golden Knights. Who are oxymoron?
Vibranium gold. Vibranium gold.
When you look at the Jets, they're playing with house money right now. They're coming in. They're this team that nobody expects to do anything. But Fleury, the goalie for the Golden Knights, has experience, Charlton, in the playoffs. He was in the Stanley Cup last year with the Penguins and came out with the Stanley Cup championship.
Yes.
So he knows what it takes with his veteran leadership to motivate and help inspire his players and to keep them from the pitfalls that can occur in this situation. You think about it. They went to Winnipeg, Charlton, and came out with a split.
Yeah.
So they're playing with house money right now in Vegas. And people know in Vegas when you're playing with house money, you're here. I like the Golden Knights in Game 3.
Okay, Big C. Yeah, but you're still not getting my butt light. That guy from Vegas keeps calling me. Last night, we know LeBron James, the Moors in Northern Africa, they roamed Northern Africa and parts of Europe for 700 years. They ate a lot of lion's meat. And a lion is the king of the jungle. And when you think about it, they have that golden vibranium look, Big C, purified like it came from the universe. LeBron James last night, he could not get a miracle from all the miracles he's had over the years. But Game 2 in Boston, even though he had 42 points, 10 and 12, he had, I don't know if he was concussed or someone gave him a little bang upside the head. But your thoughts on King James? He has to get more support, even though this series really doesn't start until they go home and lose one there. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, 42, 10, and 12. He did all that he could, and we talked about that prior to last night's game. That LeBron was going to do what he was going to do, and he was, like I said, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles.
Yeah,
you knew that Smokey was going to hit all the notes that he was supposed to hit. It was the Miracles going to be able to keep in step with him. They were out of rhythm last night. Their choreography was off just a tad, Charlton.
I like that.
And they could not keep up with the Boston Celtics. They were limited to 92 points. But we talked about the young guns, Brown, Tatum, Rozier, and even the leadership of Horford, Charlton, and how Morris and Smart had been dominating in this series. And they showed it last night, Charlton. One of the things about being a great player over time is that young guys catch up with you.
Yeah.
They're in awe of you for a long time. Then they all of a sudden they realize, and you talk about the Lions, you will always see Lion prides taken over by younger Lions. When they team up, they will oust the king that has been running a harem of lioness.
Yep.
And that's what you're seeing now in the NBA. LeBron has been tested this year in every series that he has played. No one is better than him. He proves that night in and night out.
Yes.
But it's his teammates. It's that entourage that plays with him.
Yeah.
That people have gotten better than. We saw that last year with Golden State when they ran through LeBron's entourage.
Yeah.
LeBron averaged a triple-double in that final series, Charles.
Yeah.
But his entourage could not keep pace with him.
Yeah.
They could not pull out a miracle, Charlton,
Yep.
as we've seen in these first two games with the Celtics. I mean, and you look at some of the antics that his co-stars have gone through. I mean, you look at J.R. Smith last night when he pushed Horford, underneath the basket on a simple layup.
Yeah.
Now, Draymond Green gets suspended for a game.
Yep.
J.R. Smith gets hit with a technical. But, that's how things are judged. The NBA does not want Cleveland to be swept, so they kept J.R. in the game.
Yeah.
But that's the desperation that these guys are feeling. Not LeBron. I mean, he's getting his points.
Oh, he's amazing.
But you think about it, as good as he was last night, Charles, he had 21 points in the first quarter.
Yeah.
21 points. There were 3 quarters to play after that. He averaged 7 points a quarter after the first quarter last night.
Yeah.
His teammates didn't uphold their end.
I tell you what, Big C, that's a great observation. He is the best player in the universe, and everybody knows that. So no matter who gets the MVP, you can see it when you watch it. You just know it. He has that it factor that you either get it or you don't. Prince had it when he was singing, and Michael Jackson had it. Elvis Presley had it. Chuck Berry had it. A lot of good boys had that it factor, and LeBron definitely has it. And the land of the free, the home of the brave, the land of vibranium gold, known as the Golden State Warriors, taking on them good old boys from down south. The Houston Rockets, land of oil. So what's more important, oil or gold? Which one's the real McCoy? I think tonight's game is not just about the series. It's about legacy of players. Because if Houston doesn't get out of here, out of their own home arena, with at least one win, this is when you start questioning legacies of players. Not that they have to, but you know how our world judges you by how many championships you have, not how many people like you. And when I look at what's going on, Harden had a fantastic game in Game 1. Can he repeat that performance in Game 2? If he does, they lose. If he scores in the 30s, they have a chance if they get Capella involved. And I don't trust Chris Paul. I just don't. Not when against Durant and Curry and Iguodala and Green and McGee and them good old boys. I want to get your thoughts on what we look forward to tonight on the Houston side of the ball, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you talked about Paul and Harden. Those two players combined for 65 points in Game 1. This team didn't score 100. So you're lacking in other areas. Just like we said with LeBron and Cleveland, you're lacking in Houston when you get your backcourt putting up 65 and your team scores less than 100. You're out of the game, Charlton. You got to get an equal amount from your front court that you're getting in your back court. But also, you got to also look at it from this aspect, is that they're holding the ball until the count gets to 10, Charlton. Then they're deciding to pass to a teammate, say, okay, now you got to make something happen with less than 10 seconds to go on the shot clock.
Sometimes less than 5.
We are the point guard.
Yeah.
And so they're putting their teammates in bad situations. But on the flip side, when you look at the big three in Golden State, you got 82 points from Thompson, Curry, and Durant.
Yes.
82. Very easy for the rest of your team, Charlton, to pick up another 30 points and you dominate a game.
Yes.
If Houston picks up 30 points with their backcourt scoring 65, that's an automatic loss.
Yeah.
So that's the difference in the game, Charlton, is that they're getting the ball to open men with time on the clock. Houston is not doing that. They're playing too much one-on-one basketball, and in the playoffs, that doesn't make it. We go back to Philadelphia, saying a team that was built with guys playing without the basketball. They just don't have great outside shooters consistently. But with Golden State, this is a team that's built on outside shooting. For Houston to win tonight, Charlton, they got to knock down at least 15 threes. If they can't knock down 15 threes, the season is over.
Well, also with that, and I love the observation you made. For anyone that follows basketball, and I heard Shaq talk about it. You know, Shaq is one of the best players in the history of the NBA universe. And he didn't get there by being a three-point shooter. Shaq did not become one of the best players in the history of the NBA by shooting, driving outside the free throw line and trying to shoot that 15-footer. He didn't get there. Shaq made his living like the Lions do. He got down inside the paint like a lion. He got his paws right around the rim, and he played the game in the paint. Because that's his skill level. That's why Shaq's considered one of the best ever. But he knew what his skill was. I'm not saying Capella can match in any way whatsoever what Shaq has done. But a guy that can defend in the paint, you got to reward the guy in the paint. But he defends in the paint, and they reward Paul and Harden from shooting threes. So, I mean, I want Golden State to win because it's a closer, I like being around Bay Area champions, Big C. But for the NBA world, it's good to see basketball being played the way it should be. And not giving the ball to Capella enough, feeding that good boy. He's not Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, but Big C, does he kind of remind you of it even a little bit, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, he's more in line of a Caldwell Jones who used to play with the Philadelphia 76ers when they won that championship with the Dr. J there in the organization, and Bobby Jones and Maurice Cheeks and Andrew Toney. He reminds me more of him as a dominant defensive player. He's a sporadic offensive player. But they don't utilize him inside where he has the mismatch offensively versus the Warriors. This is a team, when you think about D'Antoni, who has built a team on the perimeter basketball throughout his career. And so since Capella's an inside player, you have a hard time getting the ball to him. You would think that Chris Paul would be very inept in getting the ball to him, but he's not. Because over his career, he has had to feed the big man. You had Griffin, and you had the other kid there with the Clippers, Jordan.
Jordan, yeah.
So he had big men that he had to go inside to. But since being in Houston, he has relied more on his outside game, pulling up. I mean, he reminds me so much of Isaiah Thomas when he's playing offensively. The way he can break down players and rise up and hit that medium jump shot, Charlton. But he doesn't remind me of Isaiah now in the playoffs, getting the ball inside to Mahorn and Lambeer, getting those critical inside shots.
Yeah, that's a very good observation. Last player, Steph Curry, two-time unanimous MVP, and one time the only unanimous MVP in the history of the league, but two-time MVP of the league. Didn't have a great game one, scored 18 points game two, played defense well enough to get a steal on Harden and deflect some of his dribble to the basket, even though Harden dropped over 40. But there's a time when you get a steal here and there. Remember, NBA is about possessions. It's not about points. If you get possessions based on steals, and you only get that by playing defense, that can lead to an extra point each quarter or each period. That's about 8 points in the game. To have a 23-point swing down plus 10 in the first half and win by 13, that's 23 points. That's a lot of defense being played to turn the tide that way. Your thoughts, what can we expect from Steph Curry, Big C? Your thoughts tonight?
Well, Charlton, all you want is consistent basketball from Steph Curry. As I mentioned, that trifecta had 82 points in game one. You're not expecting for him to carry the team. What you want is James Harden to have to work hard defensively against him, because that's going to take away a little bit of that stride offensively for Harden. So you want to put a lot of pressure on him guarding Steph Curry. Steph Curry can move with the ball, move without the ball. So the more that James Harden has to work against Steph Curry, Charlton, it makes it easier for that Golden State Warrior defense.
Yeah.
And so if Steph Curry at any point, Charlton, can go from 18 to 32, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
That's how much of an offensive power he is. But the key for Golden State, they don't have to rely on him to get 32, just like Houston had to rely on Harden to go over 40 points, and they still didn't have enough. And you think about it, both teams that had their leading scorer in their last games go over 40 are now down in the playoffs.
Isn't that amazing? It's called team ball. I think Golden State, no matter what happens tonight, the game's already started out chippy here in the first part, but they return to the land of vibranium. And you can't get that stuff from the store. It only comes from the universe. Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bundini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you've got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young man, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Charlton, this will be a night of either jubilation or depression when you look throughout the professional sports arenas, Charlton. When you look at the Las Vegas Golden Knights versus the Winnipeg, one of those teams is going to be down 2-1 with a huge disadvantage. The Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets could be the first team, Charlton, to have won 65 games in a season and be down 0-2 in the finals.
Wow, I tell you what, no matter what it is, whether it's vibranium, gold, or whether it's oil, we will find out tonight, and you can find out every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide when you follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. We always want to tell you, there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any man or woman going through that garbage, please call 911, because no man or woman should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope you have a super fantastic day.